Today, I'm going to tell you about all the weird ways we're saving money. Some of these are born of necessity, and some of these are, our same old that we've always done. And then some of these are just plain weird to us. And maybe they aren't to some of y'all super frugal types, but to us, weird. Hi, I'm Wendy Valencia. I am not frugal by any stretch of the imagination. I wish I were, but to the frugal community, I am anything but frugal. But oddly enough, to my friends, the people I know in real life, I am super frugal because compared to them, I don't spend a lot of money. Being frugal is a super relative thing. Whether or not you believe somebody else is frugal is 100% dependent on your own spending habits. So today I'm going to go over some of the ways we are saving money right now. And some of these are awesome. So I'm going to start with some of the more obvious ones that are the result of the Rona situation. So the major one for right now is that we have zero child expenses. Between the sports and the tutors and the before and after school care, Melina generally costs between $1,500 and $2,000 a month. But right now, all of those costs are at zero. And I don't know that I miss them at all. But I know Melina does, so, there's something to be said for that. Also, we got no dry cleaning, no suits, jeans only at work. We're massively eating out of the freezer and the pantry because groceries are so freaking expensive right now. And I am very appreciative of the people who deliver my groceries, so I tip pretty well as a thank you, which makes it that much more expensive. I actually recently found fridge-to-table.com where you can actually put in like what you have on hand. Like let's say you have 3 cans of Rotel tomatoes and you want to use them up. You put in Rotel tomatoes and chicken or Rotel tomatoes and chicken and beef or whatever. And it gives you a wide variety of recipes that can use up what you have. And I'll link that down in the description box. That has been hugely helpful. And honestly, thus far, all of the recipes that we've made have been excellent. And in truth, we have a huge amount of food in this house. So the less groceries I can buy and the more food we can use out of the pantry and the freezer, the better off we'll be. Because there is a point in time when that stuff starts going bad and I end up wasting it. And it's been, 6 weeks and we haven't bought a single thing of meat at all because we had that much meat in our freezer. So the next one was super weird for us and was kind of created out of desperation when Mauricio was in the hotel on quarantine from exposure and I was here and I was not supposed to be going out in public. And it was, at that point, it was almost impossible to get a grocery delivery block. We made our own barbecue sauce, but not like from scratch. We took the 10 million packets of barbecue sauce that we have from getting barbecue takeout, and we took the soy sauce and separated it out, and the duck sauce and the ketchup and the hot sauce. We had a lot of packets, like an entire gallon Ziploc bag full of packets in one of our drawers. And we took all the barbecue ones and we mixed it up in a bowl and added it to the dregs of barbecue sauce that were in that bottle. And it did not matter if it was honey barbecue or Carolina barbecue or spicy barbecue, it all went in. And shockingly, it was probably some of the best barbecue sauce that I've had. It was really good. We actually also one night made cocktail sauce out of ketchup and horseradish and lemon juice. And it wasn't quite the same, but it was actually still really good. The next way we're saving money is also because of the Rona. Mauricio and I are both still working, but somebody's got to be home with Melina at all times. So this kind of actually serves as a cost-cutting measure because we're both able to drive our super fuel-efficient hybrid vehicle and nobody has to drive the gas guzzler. On top of that, nobody is having to drive in rush hour because stop and go traffic is a huge waste of money. So between those two things with the car, it saved us almost $150 in gas last month. Yeah. So that was pretty awesome. And both of those are actually really good principles to take away. I've long said the next car that we buy will probably be a hybrid, at least, if not a fully electric vehicle. The next way we're saving money is we are actually eating every single bit of leftovers that we can. And one of my favorite ways to eat leftovers has been to take a little pile and wrap it in dough and bake it in the oven, kind of like a popover. And I can use anything as filler, like meat, veggies, potatoes, rice. You mix it up, you stuff it in the dough, and you cook it. And I've used biscuit dough. In this particular recipe, I use, well, it's not a recipe, it came out of my head, but in this particular scenario, I used biscuit dough, but I've also used pie crust, I've used phyllo dough. Pretty much anything works. You just need to make sure you roll the dough really, really thin because it does puff up a little bit. And you don't want a super thick dough, or that kind of defeats the purpose of the popover, because then it's just like eating bread with filling, which isn't so bad. And honestly, I've even done it with like cornmeal masa, which I make with, cornmeal and water. We use arepa masa, and then you fry that and not bake it. And that's really good too. I'm wondering, like, what are some of y'all's go-to ways to use leftovers? Do you like Google how to use leftover mashed potatoes, or do you have like a standard way like I do that you just kind of create? Leave me a comment down below. I am forever looking for ways to use leftovers because we always have leftovers in this house and I hate wasting money on leftovers. Then obviously, because of the Rona, we are not having haircuts, and I was honestly planning on saying that we're cutting our own hair here, but Mauricio is refusing to let me cut his hair, and it's getting poofier and poofier and poofier. I am possibly going to shave him one of these nights while he's sleeping, and it's not going to be a good look. I mean, Melina and I were finally able to convince him to shave his horrible mustache, which wasn't really a mustache. It was kind of like eyelashes around his lips. So I had originally told Mauricio that if he wasn't going to cut his hair, I wasn't going to color my hair, but I couldn't take it. I had roots that were like this long. I had to do something, so I did color my hair. But this actually segues into one of the traditional ways that we save money each month, and that is that I color my own hair because it is crazy expensive in this area. So I go to Sally Beauty and I buy my supplies there, and I have Mauricio color it. We learned how to do it on YouTube, and I've done 1,000,001 videos about how I save $700 every 6 weeks by coloring my own hair. And yes, it does cost $700. I know every time I make that statement, people are like, what do you get done? That's just cut, base color, highlights, and wash and style. That's it. It is expensive in this town. Now, I can drive 45 minutes and find a much more reasonably priced hair salon, but I just decided to do it at home because that's even more reasonably priced in my book. Another of the regular and probably the most obvious ways that we save money is we live with my parents. And a lot of people would call that weird. And truthfully, we don't actually do that to save money. It just kind of happened organically because we were transferred to this area from Mexico City, and we thought we'd be here only for a few months. So we asked if we could just stay temporarily. And that kept getting extended, and right around that time my parents started having health issues, first my father, then my mother, and now we're talking about the possibility of building on an addition so they can live with us permanently. But in this area, rent or mortgage is somewhere around $3,000 to $4,000 a month, and that's just, your standard house, nothing fancy. It's just in this school district. And that's the cheaper end actually of this school district. So another way I save money every month is by using reusable ziploc bags. Now, usually I only use these for Melina's lunches and snacks because we do still use ziploc bags. Just by using them in Melina's lunch and my lunch and Mauricio's lunch, We are saving, gosh, on Melina's lunch alone, it's probably 3 to 4 bags, Ziploc bags a day that we're saving. And I found these adorable ones on Amazon, and I'll link them down in the description box. And I wash them in the dishwasher. When she brings her lunch home, she sets it next to the sink. I dump all the crumbs out. I throw the baggie in the dishwasher, and if it's dirty on the inside, sometimes I'll flip it inside out. If it just needs to be washed, I'll just leave it the way it is. And then I let them air dry and they're ready to go the next day. Another way that we save money is we freeze bananas and fruits and basically all produce that are about to go bad. And we use them in smoothies because honestly, right before something goes bad is when it's at its sweetest. And those black bananas that I refuse to eat are actually really good in smoothies. So right before they go bad, I prepare them and I put them in the freezer. I actually have a container in the freezer set, ready to go. I just open it up and throw them in and it's good to go. And it works out perfectly. My favorite smoothie is actually a pineapple, spinach, basil smoothie. I know it sounds awful, but it is actually really good. And I will buy, I'll either use leftover pineapple, but generally we do buy pineapple frozen from like Costco in bulk. And then 9 times out of 10, the spinach has come from leftover spinach because I'll buy those huge containers of spinach and we'll only go through like half of one. And then I'll use that to freeze, and I'll just freeze it in individual containers for use, and you just throw it in frozen into the blender with the pineapple. And the basil I'll either have fresh, picked off a plant from outside, or I will freeze it also in the bag with the spinach. And I will frequently throw some zucchini in there or cauliflower because that makes it almost creamy and it has no flavor. So I cannot recommend it enough. It's actually my very favorite smoothie, and Mauricio makes it all the time. Another way that we save money is we actually buy day-old bread at half price and throw it in the freezer. So we do a lot of our grocery shopping at Giant, and Giant grocery store has a shelf in the back where that they put their like day-old bakery stuff. And so we will get, if they have a loaf of bread on there, and they frequently do, we'll grab it and we'll take it. And it's usually half price. And we will put it in the deep freezer so for use at a later date. And honestly, we use that bread all the time. And it freezes perfectly. You just pop it in the oven to thaw it out and heat it up. And it tastes like brand new. Another way we save money, and I know a lot of people do this, is they make their coffee at home, but we actually make fancy espressos at our house. We have a Nespresso machine, and I even buy like the Starbucks brand pods or the Peet's brand pods, and we use the same syrup that they use at Starbucks. And I will make myself a $5 sugar-free vanilla latte with almond milk. Yep, I'm that girl. But I can make it exactly the way I want, and it costs less than $1. And I promise you would be hard pressed to tell the difference between mine and Starbucks because I have perfected it. Another way we send money is kind of humorous, but at the same time, Mauricio perfected his bartending skills. And now I actually prefer for him to make me a drink rather than us going to like happy hour in a bar, because he makes a much better lemon drop martini or margarita or whatever drink I have desired of the day than any bartender I have met. The secret is he uses Melina's snow cone maker to make the drink. It's like having an alcoholic snow cone or a Slurpee. It's amazing. And I tell you, there is no better martini in the world than one made with shaved ice. I'm just saying. Another way that we save money is we buy our brand name clothes and anything else we can secondhand. We buy our clothes on Poshmark, and we buy big items on Facebook Marketplace or Nextdoor. And it usually works out really well for us. And we look for items at Shop Goodwill. Shop Goodwill is like a hidden gem. I am so surprised more people don't know about it because you can actually set alerts for what you want. When I was looking for my lighting system, I actually had alerts set for Shop Goodwill for lighting, for studio lighting. And I was able to get my LED lights for like a third of the price. Not even kidding. Because people try YouTube and they think they have to have the best equipment and then they burn out and they get rid of it. Or they upgrade and then they just donate. And Goodwill, shopgoodwill.com is one of those places where all the Goodwill stores take the very best items that they think they can get at the best amount of money, and they basically let people, fight over them. But I probably shouldn't be telling you this because all y'all are going to drive up the price on all the things I want. But it's true. It's a great place to save money. And another way that we save money, and I'm not going to lie, this is the epitome of cheap, but we actually cut open the tubes of everything, be it like makeup or toothpaste or conditioner or what have you. We open it up and we get out every single last drop, because I'm telling you, you can get another week or two out of an open tube. You just have to clamp it closed so it doesn't dry out when you cut it open. And of course, our very biggest way to save money each month is by creating a spending plan every single month and making sure that we actually put money in the savings category every single month. And we actually do that before it even reaches our bank account, so we're not tempted to spend it at all, because we call that funding our goals first. So if you want to see an example of how we create our spending plan and spend our money each month, I do it every month, and I'm going to link that video right over here. So I'll see you in the next one.